Hello, welcome to the first ever BDA podcast. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this. Our aim was to try and get 2 done by the end of the year, but what with the digital day, it's been so busy here that we're going to struggle to get 1. But 1 is better than none. And we thought, seeing as the digital day is fresh in our minds, that would be a good sort of launch pad to start our first BDA podcast. So, with me, I've got the industry experts. I've got the social queen from BDA. It's Camilla. Woo! Sorry. We've also got. Well, I don't know. How do I introduce the Roberto Jarvis?
I just think you would introduce me by saying digital manager and best dancer at BDA.
I'm not sure about that one.
But
But anyway,
that went down well.
And to my right, it is the one and only.
Rob Humphreys. That is me.
Yeah.
Hi.
Lovely. So, today, what's today, guys? What's today?
It's the 14th of December.
14th of December. Our aim is to try and produce one of these at least once a month. The next one, hopefully, being in January. So, we're going to kick it off with our digital day presentations. We're just going to talk about basically what we did and, what our highlights, our lowlights, and what we do again. I think rumours are that the digital day could be making a return. So watch this space for more information about that. So, where shall I? Who wants to go first? Who wants to open us up with their genius of presentation?
Well, I think it's a good point to say that we all thoroughly enjoyed the digital day. I think that's something that came across not just with ourselves, sort of internally as a team, those that presented or those that helped, but those that came as well, all thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we went beyond our expectations with that, and the quality of the talks that were there were pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Yeah, well, mine of course being one of the best.
Well, I think it's quite interesting because you all work together on a daily basis, but yet some of the things I heard were the first time I'd heard certain little bits, and it made me think a little bit differently. So if I felt that way, I'm sure hopefully the audience and the people who attended on the day felt the same.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of new discoveries. I think a lot of us didn't realise exactly what every one of us knows. Certainly before sort of going into the room, we kind of take ourselves for granted a little bit, and then when you do actually sort of hear the knowledge that our colleagues know, you think, well, actually, damn, yeah, we know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it was quite nice because it all played into each other. So, even though we didn't spend a whole month before kind of going through each other's talks with each other, they kind of married up together really nicely.
Flukely, I would say.
But
it did work, yeah. It did work. I think moving forward, next year would be, if there is another one, would be.
Oh, there'll definitely be another one.
We get together and tie them up a little bit more.
Yeah. Do we want to kind of go through and say, right?
Well, it would help. Yeah, I guess for those that haven't
for
actually.
Our talk and for those who haven't obviously seen the recording of the day or didn't attend the day, just to give a very quick overview of what our talk's about.
I think it's a good idea.
Mine was about IKEA furniture. And the ins and outs of how to build IKEA furniture. Oh! Drum roll. That was that. That was no, yeah. No, mine was about everything to do with video, emotive video. Rob?
Mine was about using design systems for better customer experiences or customer journeys, but how we should really make sure that every small interaction between a user and a product is spot on, basically. Yeah, I'm a bit geeky about those kind of things, so it kind of fit quite well.
Yeah, you are.
I picked up social media, so how to kill it on social. So we kind of had a little look around engagement and how to be really authentic as a brand, and about how brands are changing and they're moving away from really corporate, robotic terminology to really natural human-to-human communications, rather than kind of stifling corporate spiel, and showed some examples on that as well. So if you want to look at anything back, there's a Periscope live recording which we can include within this podcast.
Oh, nicely said, Camilla.
Oh, well
nicely. I didn't work that one in there.
Robert, John?
Yeah, and my one was kind of misleadingly titled "The Future of Digital," and while we did kind of touch on that, we touched on three main things that we shouldn't be doing in 2017. So there was a bit of advice there, a cautionary tale of things to avoid. But on top of that, it was more around the evolution of people's websites, kind of doing that testing and learning and that listening piece to understand how it's being used, and to ensure that you're constantly evolving it rather than just waiting 4 years for a massive revolution. And really, I think that's what it all kind of tailed in around.
I think that's kind of sort of the underlying message that's quite important across, especially when it comes down to digital sort of web and those sort of products, is that people do expect this revolution in the digital world, and yet it has to be an ongoing process. It has to be continuously changing and rechanging, and I think that message was quite strong within the digital day.
Yeah, and I think in my talk, I used the emergence of the original social media platforms. We all remember Friends Reunited and MySpace.
I'm still on there.
Yeah, you've only got two friends still.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for. I'm waiting for Friends United to just. Facebook's going to die soon, and Friends United is going to come back and be
I
like.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm too young. Sorry.
Do we make a joke about that?
Pregnant pause.
But again, that was the example. Even that was a social media platform. They had a big user base to begin with, but they didn't constantly evolve. They stagnated. And if you stagnate, one, your website, your platform becomes less of a business tool, and two, it turns your users off anyway. So again, the whole emphasis was around that ongoing of evolution. Innovating, but not just by guessing and putting your finger up in the air. It's by actually listening to your users, talking to your users, looking at the analytics, and then you're really driving insights from there and changing what you're doing, so you're adapting it as you go.
And I think us as marketers can overcomplicate stuff. I think clients do. I think sometimes we can, and we don't look at it out of the vision of if it was if it were us that were being targeted, what would we want to see? Let's step it back to the real basics. What do I want to see on a website? How do I want a brand to talk to me on social media or across an email or across a video? Or talk to me normally, kind of have that, and we kind of wrap everything up in this really complex kind of puzzle of, well, we should talk like this and we should do this and the website should do this because this is what we've told that works. It's like, treat it as a human being.
And you're totally right, because whether we're business owners, marketers, designers, whatever, at the end of the day, we're all consumers. We're all out there believing into brands, listening to messaging, hearing the sales message. And buying into certain parts.
Well, I think
so we need to rewind back to that.
I think people are just getting tired of the sales message.
Yeah.
I think you've got to market things in, and I wouldn't say it's a new way, but sorry, more in a way that is more linked to the customer, rather than just sort
in a
of
more authentic way. And we spoke about that a little bit, but say you follow Innocent Smoothies, for example. You like Innocent because they have natural products, and there's no colourings, it's very pure. They stand by their convictions, and the image that they give across to customers is that they are, pretty liberal. They work in this very cool office. They have cool ideas. They think outside the box. They're not corporate. They're not. So that authenticity that they produce as a brand is consistent throughout, and that's actually quite clever. Yeah. But that's what people aren't doing as much. They're saying, well, we're a business, so we have to talk in business talk.
Well, it's more product based rather than I see it as
service as well. You've got a service that's helping someone, and it's just shout out why.
No matter whether it's consumer or business, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
And that's what we've always got to rewind back to. We're talking to people, and it might be about a complex subject matter, but you still have to talk in that human, personable term, and that language that really just kind of gets the authenticity of the brand and what you're offering across. We had clients the other day, and we had a conversation about this, and they're trying to please so many people with the content on their website. It's become a bit vanilla, and they're forgetting about that user at the end of it, because they're trying to please stakeholders, different sales teams, different audiences, and it's become a bit vanilla. So again, we've got to get back to who are we talking to. You might have more than one audience, so you might need to shape it, but it always boils back down to who you're talking to. Talk to them like a human.
But also simplify it. And we had these guys in the other day that were doing a little bit of a training thing at BDA, which was awesome. And they were talking about, ask that, and it's really annoying, but ask those 5 whys. So when you've got your strategy, well, why? Break it down. Why again? Break it down. So literally, it's simple form. If you were going to describe it to an 11-year-old, well, how would you? What would you call it? What would you do? And that's how people have to do it, I think, now. So you can build it up or shape it to that level instead of this long-winded kind of strategy that doesn't really resonate with anyone anymore.
I think it's difficult. I think we've so long tried to talk in the ways that are our customers expect us to, and it's more and more because of the natures of social media and how the web has shaped over the past sort of decade, that those sort of different terminologies, those different languages that you have to speak to those different markets is becoming more and more blurred now. And I think sort of going back to the digital day, I think that's quite obvious in how across all the discussions and the talks that we had, that singular language was similar throughout, and that is, be simple, think about the smaller things, talk to people how they want to be spoken to, and don't use, as in your examples, nice stock photography, Rob. And it's all about all those things that we have to. You do, to be fair.
Oh, come on, it's not hard
We've
to
all
find
seen it
it.
before.
Proper stock. Yeah, but you pulled out the nuggets there.
Yeah, but did I miss any? Because I got a lot of feedback from clients going, oh yeah, we love the stock photography bit, we still do it, but we know it's bad.
People pointing at some sort of document.
And
Yeah.
smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I missed the shaking hands one.
Shaking hands.
Shaking
hands.
hands. Yeah.
But I thought
Probably.
yours was really good around emotion and video and how that plays into that being human piece. And you showed some really good videos. They were really emotive.
Yeah, I must admit I was kind of taken back at some of the content that was out there, and let's be honest, I don't think all of our clients are going to run off and start producing videos like that. They cost a lot of money to produce some of
It's
those
a different way
videos.
of thinking, isn't it?
But it is about changing the way of thinking, and already we've had a few clients that have said, "Oh, this is really maybe I need to start doing things differently." I think probably the key one for me was the funny one with Zoom Room.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think that one was probably the closest to what our clients could probably try and achieve, using humour to sort of like break down the messaging and sort of sell your product without actually selling your product. But yeah, and even the Barbie one, I didn't want to. I find that one was the most. I didn't want to click on. If any brand out there, I find a lot of it is all about, we don't all buy Apple stuff, or we buy a lot of Apple stuff here, because of it works. But there's also there's that brand thing with Apple. It's aligned itself within the creative industry a long time ago, but. And recently it has it's beginning to hit a few bumps, I think, along the road. So when I was like Barbie, I don't want to click on me. I just had a baby girl. So I'm aligning myself to the all things girl. But yeah, that one made me realise that you can the power of video can change the perceptions of a brand quite quickly, by using. Like in my presentation, I said we think with our gut far quicker than we think with our head. We make decisions based on our emotions far quicker than we do with the.
But I think those videos that you showed, they weren't the biggest of budgets sort of looking videos by any shape or means. That they were very clever. They were simple and clever, and it's not about trying to do sort of a big change, about a big explosion or big movement. It's about just being simple and just thinking in a roundabout kind of a way, isn't it?
The one thing I didn't include, that I wish I had loads of ideas in the car on the way home. And the one thing I wanted to include, and this is a shout out to K3, and his name, I almost forgot his name. It just popped in my head like a light bulb. Eric, I think it's Eric. Is it Eric Schmolder? Schmolder. He has a thing about shoes, and you'll notice this from the video. He loves. There's a lot of people at K3 seem to have a thing about shoes. We did a video for them, and it was a face cam video, and it was basically it's on our website, or it's on the K3 website, so go and have a look. And you'll see Eric, and I should have taken Natalie. Natalie works at K3, and I should have said, Natalie, I've got an idea for a video, Natalie. I said you should just do a little short documentary about Eric and his obsession with shoes, and you could follow him around and just go. Okay, you'd have to stage it maybe a little bit. You walk into his house, and there's just shoe boxes everywhere. And then maybe, I don't know, everywhere he's got a different pair of shoes, or he goes to work in one pair of shoes, he gets to work, he takes his shoes off, puts a different pair of shoes on. And then maybe you end it with, like, everywhere Eric's been, all of the till checkouts are just processing shoes. So you could take anything to a checkout and, oh yeah, I want to buy this top. It says you're trying to buy these shoes. No, I'm not. And then secretly you've got Eric in the background just trying to basically get everybody addicted to wearing shoes. It's kind of loose, and then maybe at the end that's how you then sell K3. We're here to help you not sell shoes, but we're passionate.
Yeah.
And it's about those real people. And that's I still might contact Natalie and just say, look, Natalie, we need to
I
do
think
a
you
film
should send
about
Natalie
Eric.
this podcast.
We should say, Natalie,
That's
listen,
all you need to do.
Natalie,
Boom,
listen to
drop the
this.
mic.
We need to do a film about Eric
his shoes.
Schmolders and his Nike shoes. I think it's trainers or No, it's sneakers. That's it. Sneakers.
Why
That's
is
what
it
he said.
sneakers?
Because that's the way he says it. 'Cause you have to you watch the video. All of our digital day presentations or videos, because we filmed all of them, they will be available on the BDA website coming in January. We're just going the process of cutting them all together. There's a lot of video footage to go through. So as soon as that's available, keep your eye on the Think BDA website. We'll probably bring it up in the next podcast just to let everybody know. So yeah, I think we've pretty much. What would anybody's highlights, best bits of digital day?
I think overall, it was a fantastic day. I think for me personally, that first moment I walked into the room, about to go on stage.
You had about how many herbal drops have
I
you
said
had?
you weren't allowed to say this.
You had
Yes,
23.
rescue remedy. You're meant to have 4 drops before you go and do something that really scares the shit out of you. I had 27 drops.
You were popping that more than
Rabbit
anything.
in headlights.
Yeah, it was.
And then when you walked into that room and there was 50 faces just kind of sat there, it was for me a little bit nerve-wracking.
You were pacing. I remember.
I know.
I remember came down and I was like, "Are you ready?" And you were like pacing around. I was like,
But for me, I think yes, it was the excitement, it was the adrenaline, and once I got into it, absolutely fine. But it was kind of knowing, and this plays into my favourite points from my perspective, was I was knowing I was being followed by Adobe. So I'm Rob Digital Manager, so I'm thinking.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think
I had
so.
to-
I'd
I was
rather
after
lead
Adobe.
into Adobe than be after, but
Thank
still,
you,
that's on
thank
your
you.
mind. That's still on your mind. And it was a pleasure to share the stage with Adobe. David Benand, I
it was
thought, gave
great.
a fantastic presentation. And some very insightful pieces in
Absolutely,
there, and
yeah.
delivered with the sort of confidence and aplomb you would expect from someone from Adobe at that level. And I thought he did a tremendous job, as did everyone on the day. But that for me was quite a highlight, being able to say, well, I did a talk, and I did a talk and shared the stage with Google and with Adobe.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Google came as two.
Yeah.
All day long I wanted to do a joke of, are you goo and you're ghoul? But I never did it. So there you go, Google. I've done it now.
I think there's a lot we could take from the digital day and sort of hopefully there will be others to come. But I think from us sort of internally, there's so much we can take from that and move it forward. I think for me, some of the highlights of the day was just seeing our colleagues up on stage and giving their information and the interactions between our clients, and sometimes there was some realization there that we offer services that our clients didn't really know that we did. So that's always nice, and having those conversations afterwards as well was nice to have. But I think there's still plenty more that we can do, and there's still ways that we can sort of improve it and keep improving it.
I just remember coming downstairs and seeing all these people. I was like, oh, right, there's quite a few people. And then I amended my presentation just for... And I amended it on the Mac upstairs, and I didn't hit save, and I came downstairs, and I'm sitting next to Andy, and I was like, this is not the right one. I had to run back upstairs, and I had to dodge in front of... Who was it? Was it Google in front of me? No, it was before me. It was Google.
It was Google, yeah.
It was Google.
I had to duck in front of Google, run upstairs.
I saw
run
you
back
run
down.
off.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, and I think that was, again, going back into what you said, that was one of the pleasures from then doing your presentation and watching, because I was able to see the reactions of the people in the room. So when Baddywinkle came up, for instance, I saw ears prick up, and people were smiling and taking notes, and it was good throughout the day on the various different bits to see just that sudden, you could almost see it in people's faces, that ding moment.
But it's hard because we had 25 minutes each. That's not very long. So
It's
we were
not
covering quite broad topics, really.
Yeah.
We could have gone on for much, much longer. I could have,
Yeah.
personally, because you just felt like you're just kind of creaming the top stuff.
Yeah.
And then you always think of stuff afterwards, and you always think, I could have done
Yeah, I
that.
hate
And that's
that.
why we just need to do.
Because you think,
day
oh,
two.
she's done that, or she's done this.
Yeah, but
For me, the best bit for me was probably the day before. I think I've said this before. But the day when we was just preparing, when we were just demoing it, doing the old dry runs, and everyone was just in that room, and it was dark, and
Oh yeah.
all you could see was faces illuminated with Max, just last
minute
minute
cramming.
keynote cramming of trying to figure out how this is going to all come together. And it was kind of cool because at that point you could get a feel for the room, you could get a feel for the space, and how. And I think it was great that we had the audio set up as it was, and we had some video content that would sort of backed it up, And I think the music that we had, I think your walk-on track was genius.
Yeah.
What was it again?
Dude looks like
a lady.
Dude
That would
looks like.
teach me to review the proof of anything.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that should not have gone
Did
live.
you not see that?
I quite liked
He
it. I
liked
quite liked
it.
it live in the tempo.
Well, it was I think if anything, it was hard because it was like the first one,
Yeah.
so it was kind of like crack in the morning, and it was just like, right, dude looks like a lady. It's like, right, so yeah.
But as you say, like with the videos that you talked about, the music sets the tone. It can drive the emotion, and I think it was the right choice to kind of get people.
Yeah.
The day's about to start.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We needed to kick it off, didn't we? We needed to kick it off. So anything that we would, I think we've covered our highlights. Anything we would change? Anything we would?
I watched back the live streaming, and it's always awkward watching yourself back.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
you
know.
pick out stuff that you had no idea. I had this horrible habit of not really finishing my presentation, so I just kind of do a mic drop thing and kind of walk off.
So there we go.
Thank you, and
That's
walk
a-
off, and then that's it. And I watched back and I was like, oh my god, I don't actually round anything
Well,
up.
no, you
It's-
did ask for questions at the end.
No, I think Andy did.
Oh, did Andy do it?
Yeah. So just watching back.
Was you actually
go,
standing there at that point? And you?
Oh yeah, he was on the stage.
You
He was on that stage.
Was you in the car park?
I've run off.
Any questions?
I'll be back in the car. Yeah, but just watching it back is really interesting. But also watching everyone else back, and you always see not faults, but you see how you handle nerves, or how you handle questions, or how you handle pacing, or it's just interesting. So there's things that you always change when you look back.
Well, you see different styles and different people about how they present, and that's always quite interesting. You think, Lee's a walker. He moves around. He does a few dances.
More than walking.
Whereas I'm normally relaxed, but somehow I was gripping hold of the pedestal quite
See,
tightly.
I can't stand at that thing. I couldn't stand there. I'd be like,
You just feel whatever feels most natural, and then
Andy kept telling me to stand by the whatever.
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, you need to stand here. Like, I don't want to.
I'm gonna dance.
I'm just gonna stand here, and partly we stand in front of the content. I was like, well, yeah, but I just no, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it's different techniques.
I enjoyed the
different
clicker
people.
though. I like the clicker. My one point in life, I felt completely in control of something.
Clicker. It actually
Next
worked.
slide.
It worked. It actually worked. Normally those things don't work, and you're left with a slide going back and forth and just showing
Yeah,
people the
well-
wrong things
Oh,
too early.
skip.
Oh, sorry.
Too far forward.
Yeah.
And for me, what would I change? I think I'd like to have interacted more with the audience. I think it's a long day to sit there and just hear. And I know some of the guys asked questions and stuff, which was great. And that's what I picked up from watching it back. Just a bit more interaction, get them involved, ask a few questions, do a few polls. Just I kind of engage with them a little bit more throughout the day.
Yeah.
I'd like some case studies on there. I think we mentioned this before. I'd like an expert panel. So not just us, some other people, like we had Google in, obviously, and David as well.
Yeah.
I just think a panel of case studies, like how did you do it in your company? What did you do? How did you overcome this? What was your last campaign? What's your, people in really good positions that's actually really interesting and people want to know about, rather than, us sharing our knowledge, which is great. We can step that up a notch by doing something different. I think those are in discussions for next year.
I'd like to do something crazy.
Oh God.
Where you basically one of those, let's say you've got the client in that you wouldn't normally pitch a crazy idea, but because they're there for Digital Day, that's when you bring
You're
out.
going to use that time to pitch to them.
That's when you bring out this, because I could talk about video and I could say, look, this is whatever's going on in video, and this is new trends and that. But then I'll single out that client that think, do you know this video that we're working on with, let's say whoever it is. This is a crazy idea, and just go for it and just see. This is what's going on in the industry, and this is something that we
That's
can
a really
possibly
good
do.
idea.
Yeah.
You could spot check, pick one, and go right. This is what we'll work on before the next digital day, and literally present some of it.
Just
And go,
because.
what do you think?
What do you think?
That'd be quite cool.
And we'll catch up later. I mean, it's just because then it shows. I think it's all very well sort of talking about what's cool in social, what's cool in web, what's cool in video. And I'm not going to. There are things that you can find out on the internet just by going and looking, and also from what we've learned from working with our clients as it is. But I think at some point you've got to bring it back to their level. We don't work with that. Some of our clients are big, but there's some massive clients out there that have got huge budgets, and we need to sort of tailor some of our ideas and some of our thinking. But it can be just as wild as some of those projects that we've presented in our presentations. But I think if we tailored it a little bit, especially from a video point of view, I guess from a web, it's a little bit different because web is.
Well, I think you can you can do almost anything with any client. It comes down to a multitude of things and never just one thing: budget, time, constraints of their customers, and all those sort of things. But absolutely, I think it'd be a nice idea to say, and this is what we've done as a demonstration of where we think the future of web or future of digital, future of films and things like that can go, and just have it a little bit of a fantasy case study, and just whether it's a client or whether it's fancy, I don't know, but it'd be a nice little trick, little thing up the sleeve, which we've kind of just revealed now.
Awkward.
I
Workshops.
don't mind.
What's happened?
We just had a really good idea, but it's like a spoiler.
Oh,
We'll have to wait and see.
spoilers,
Yeah.
spoilers. Well, we don't even know if there is going to be another digital day yet, but hopefully, I think the first one went really well. Yep, there's things we can do better, and there's things that we will do better moving forward into next year. Hopefully, that'll be the case.
Yeah, I think one of the key points on just making that better is I think the clients will be surveyed. We've already had a lot of feedback, but like we promoted in all our talks, listening to that, adapting kind of what we do as well, and making sure it's what the audience are looking for.
Yeah, so I suppose we should put it out there, really, shouldn't we, to anybody that's listening to the podcast that went to the digital day. If there's anything that they would like to see, hit us up in the comments. And
Absolutely.
let us know.
We only know what, judging by ourselves, how we feel it went. It'd be a really good idea to.
We're really blinking to it though. 'Cause
We are blinking.
We're like this close to it.
Well, of course, we don't see the bigger picture, and
so it'd be good to have just people's opinions and what they
yeah.
felt, even if they didn't come to the digital day, just watching the videos and stuff like that when we get them out there would be cool.
Chris Hawley also did a presentation. Unfortunately, Chris Hawley's not here today, simply because he's still recovering from giving the presentation. It has
A
hit
week
him hard.
later.
He is still trying to recover.
Too much rescue remedy.
Too much. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
went for. He was on. I think he went to 30s. He was in the 30s.
Yeah.
It's a bad hangover.
That's a week-long hangover.
I swear it's just alcohol.
Yeah.
What, rescue
remedy?
remedy?
Is it rescue remedy? It's
Tasted
alcohol.
like
Pure alcohol. It did. I had a few myself. It did taste a bit.
That'd be unprofessional. I'd never do that.
So, I think that's pretty much wrapped us up. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's potentially our first BDA podcast over. I don't think there's anything else. Is anybody who's going to see Rogue One?
I don't know.
Potentially.
I would like to.
Well, Rogue One. I'm going on Saturday. I'm going to see the
potentially
IMAX.
Saturday.
I don't actually know what that is.
Was it the red carpet?
You don't know what
premiere
that
on
is.
This week, last night, the night before?
I don't know. Thursday. What's Thursday today? No, it's not. Oh my god. It's our Christmas party.
Oh yes.
Christmas party on
Oh.
Thursday. Yay!
And no one knows what it is.
Nobody
No,
knows.
big reveal.
Actually, who's got any ideas? What do we think we're doing for secret for our Christmas party? Because
I
no,
think
I
we
don't.
need to get our passports and we're all going to be going somewhere
Yay.
abroad.
I think it
heard
might-
Copenhagen.
I think it might involve some
Copenhagen.
can girls coming in, big headdresses.
Coming in here.
Yeah.
Big hairdressers.
Hairdressers.
Oh.
Headdresses.
We all
Hairdressers.
all gonna get haircuts. Everyone's having a Christmas haircut.
Oh, crazy time. I can't wait for this. Christmas party is going to be right. No, I don't. I have no idea what we're doing for Christmas party. No idea at all.
No.
No.
All will be revealed.
Yeah, stay next month, guys. We'll let you know. It could be as wild as hairdressing, or it could be as plain as just going out for. I imagine drinking will be involved at some point
On a Thursday night.
on a
On a
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Never good.
Work on a Friday. Right, so if anybody wants to get in contact with anybody, you can hit me up on Twitter at 4Kicks Rodeo. That's my personal Twitter account, but feel free to hit me up if you want to get in touch. Rob, where can anybody get hold of you?
At Robert Jarvis on Twitter.
Roberto Jarvis.
Nice.
Nice.
At I am.
Have you just had to check?
You just checked. You have just checked that, haven't you?
The Queen of Social has had to check what her Twitter account is.
I promise I didn't.
Seamless like this.
Oh
Yeah.
Yes. At
There is a video above me. We can play that.
We'll play that there, yeah.
And if anyone wants to hit me, they can find me pretty much anywhere at Rob Humphries. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything.
I should maybe change my Twitter name to my real name, but I just don't get bothered.
And of course they can contact BDA on Twitter.
Yeah, you can at ThinkBDA. Is that right,
Let me
Camilla?
check that.
You going to check that?
What's the Facebook page?
I think we have
BDA.
Facebook page. ThinkBDA.
Periscope?
Periscope.
BDA.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it is consistent.
good.
Oh, I see. There is, Camilla is here for something. So,
Oh, what I'm going to do that storm out now. Goodbye.
anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you in January.
See you in January.
Oh, Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.